Let me just make sure that I'm on the platforms right now. Sorry, bro. I'm trying to multitask with two laptops here in my hand. Oh, we're gonna be live for a bit on YouTube as well, just so you know. When it comes to the music part, I'm gonna have to kill the YouTube part, and then we'll just do the two, the Foxhole and Twitch is what I usually do.
I've got the alcoholic blues. No more beer, my heart to cheer. Goodbye, whiskey, you used to make me frisky. So long, highball, so long, gin. Oh, tell me when you're coming back again. Blues, I've got the blues since they amputated my boobs. Lordy, Lordy, war is well. You know, I don't have to tell. Oh, I've got the alcoholic blues, some blues. Prohibition, that's the name. Prohibition drives me insane. I'm so thirsty, soon I'll die. I simply grind, evaporate, I just that dry. I wouldn't mind to live forever in a train if my thirst had only let me quench, and not with Bevo or ginger ale. I want real stuff by the pail.
You're very exceptionary. No dictionary can define what's genuinely indescribable. Very exceptionary. No ordinary phrase can capture you. Now some might say that you're tremendous. You are so much more stupendous, so magnificent, so magnanimous. If we voted, it'd be unanimous. Very exceptionary. This temporary phrase will have to do. It's true for my very exceptionary you. very exceptionary. No dictionary can define what's genuinely indescribable. Very exceptionary. No ordinary phrase can capture you. Now some might say that you're tremendous. You are so much more stupendous, so magnificent, so magnanimous. If we voted, it'd be unanimous. Very exceptionary. This temporary phrase we'll have to do. It's true for my very exceptionary. For my very exceptionary. You.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Go Back to Sleep with your host, the bartender. Before we get the show started, tonight's random read. Hold on for a moment. Let me take you guys to the clouds first. Actually, I think Java's face is going to be there too. Say hi, Java. Wave real quick. Let's go to the clouds first. Tonight's random read is going to come off of the Book of Psalms, chapter 44, verses 15 through 22. Search our hearts. My confusion is continually before me, and the shame of my face hath covered me. For the voice of him that reproacheth and blasphemeth, by reason of the enemy and avenger. All this is come upon us. Yet have we not forgotten thee, neither have we dealt falsely in thy covenant. Our heart is not turned back, neither have our steps declined from thy way. Though thou hast scored broken us in the place of dragons, and covered us with the shadow of death. If we have forgotten the name of our God, or stretched out our hands to a strange God, shall not God search this out? For he knoweth the secrets of the heart. Yea, for thy sake are we killed all day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Awake, why sleepest thou, O Lord? Arise, cast us not off forever. Wherefore hidest thou thy face, and forgettest our affliction and our oppression? For our soul is bowed down to the dust, our belly cleaveth unto the earth. Arise for our help, and redeem us for thy mercy's sake. Once again, this random read comes from the Book of Psalms, chapter 44, verses 15 through, I guess I read it through 26, to 26. Search our hearts. All right, let me just introduce my co-host here. Take the clouds out. Java, you may unmute.
Good evening, everyone.
How are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty well.
That is good. That's great. You know, we were talking before the show, and people probably heard me saying some stuff there, but nothing important. Man, I ran into some bad luck today, dude. My mic boom, it broke. So
Really, like after the event, though?
No. Because I have a separate set for strictly my shows here.
Gotcha.
And this is the one that you use on your desk. You connect it to your desk and you tighten it up and stuff like that. Well, I tried to readjust it today, and I made it too tight, and it cracked, and it broke.
Oh, no.
Cheap stuff, man.
So nothing. You had to find something else to hold your
No,
microphone up.
I have a I have another mic stand that I have because I also have extra equipment for if I'm doing like if I'm doing a live show somewhere else. I have like I have like a quote war bag full of equipment that I take with me. So that war bag had an extra mic stand, which is what I'm using right now. But
Nice.
I'm probably gonna have to invest on another mic stand for my desk because this is the one that I'm using right now. This is not connected to my desk. This is actually like with the heavy anchor on it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't like this because it covers my face. Not that my face is not on here anyway, but I hate having to. It blocks my way of the view of my computer, if that makes any sense.
Yep. Sure does.
Yeah. So anyhow, how was your Veterans Weekend?
Well, yesterday I got to see this band. It's one of my favorite bands. Lettuce. They came through, and that was incredible. That really, as a musician and stuff, well, you know how it is, like seeing somebody that
Oh yeah,
one appreciates.
yeah,
Man, it's just an extraordinary experience. I mean, I've been to a ton of shows, but this one was exceptional.
yeah. Because it's one of your favorite groups, and I get it.
And they just played stuff I've never heard before, and played songs that I have heard. They played them, differently. Like you could see the songs are constantly evolving and stuff, and that's always cool to see.
Right.
So it pumped me up. I just feel creatively
Motivated.
motivated, like even more than normal. So
It's funny you mentioned that because lately I've been getting um musically creative to uh like motivatively creative in making, and I did make a couple beats last week. Even though we weren't able to meet up, I was still able to get something down.
nice.
So I think I got one more wedding this coming Saturday. We might be able to meet up this week. We might be, unless I have a gig on Friday. Then I have to prep for that, and
All right.
you know, I I'm very lucky and fortunate to do this business of DJing. But I tell you, man, this is definitely a young man's game. You know what I mean? Uh, there's only so much of equipment lugging I can do, and standing that I can do. Last night I was lucky that my daughter and my wife helped me kind of set up, but I ended up doing the whole event myself. Having to coordinate with the people who was coordinating the reception, having to actually DJ the reception, having to do announcements, just everything all at once it gets really tiring, man. It
Yeah,
really
for
does.
sure.
So, and then I had to take down everything myself and load everything in the car, and of course unload once I got here. So yeah, man, it's it's I'm happy. I'm very happy, but it gets really taxing when the older you get. Is kind of where I'm.
No, I
where
get
I'm
that.
going.
Yep.
So anyhow, um, so that was my weekend, but I'm glad that you had a great time with the concert, and hopefully when we meet up sometime this week, working on some music that hey, we can be able to create something. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I really am.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
So let me play the intro for our show,
Oh yeah.
and then I'm really excited about getting into this one, man. I think
Yeah, this is a good one.
I think
This is a good one.
I gave us a good one today.
Mm.
So let me go ahead and play this
Oh,
intro, and then we'll see the peeps back here in a minute. So if I can have you go ahead and go on mute, and I will see you guys in a bit.
I've been having these thoughts, and we're just waiting in line to wake up.
What is this fucking place?
Are we dreaming? Open your eyes.
Everything that you hoped for, what you dreamed about being a part of, is a fabrication. Your art. Your culture is the shell of other men's ambitions, ambitions beyond what you will ever understand.
All right. I like that intro, man.
It's a good one.
It's probably because I made it. Yeah, I'm tooting my horn because that's the first time I've actually made a video, so I'm proud of myself.
And those clips go well together and with the song too.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Thank you, man. Thank you for that. So tonight, who are we talking about tonight, Java?
The duo known as Hall and Oates.
Yep. We're going to do a breakdown of a song from Hall & Oates. And it's a very interesting one. It's a very...
Dude, I didn't even know that they were the ones who did this song. I've heard this song for years, and then I was like, wait, Hall
Really?
and Oates, they did this song?
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's one of their most popular songs. Matter of fact, it's probably one of the most sampled song in hip-hop, too. So, anyhow, before we start with the article, not with the article, but before we start with the bio of Hall & Oates, let me just say good evening to people who are in the chats out there. I have some people over here on the YouTube channel. Chris J, good evening to you. Thank you for being here this evening. Don't see anybody on the Twitch side. I see CL Goober on the Foxhole side and Philly Gigi. Good evening to you guys as well. Thank you for being here. So let me go ahead and share the article here. Not the article, but the bio, actually. Because this is what we do. If this is your first time in checking this show out, what we do is on the Sunday shows, we kind of go over songs and artists and a particular song and artist, and we do a breakdown on their lyrics, a little bit on their background, and extra stuff that may be attached to the music that we talk about, their song. And we also do the music video portion of it as well. So just a heads up, especially for you guys out there on the YouTube part, that when we get to the music video part, I have to kill the stream because you know how the algorithms are with YouTube. They're gonna strike me, and I've already gotten like 1 or 2 strikes, and I haven't made a backup channel yet, so that's just the way it is. But I will drop the link for 2 different links if you want to continue on. to watch the music video of the particular song that we're cherry picking today, and then you can go to those sites if you want to. So let me go ahead and prepare this right here for the bio part. It's quite of a lengthy one, so we'll if you don't mind, if we can do
trade
like
off.
switch off like 2 paragraphs each.
All right.
Let me go ahead and share this with you first, my friend.
Guy's mustache. Hall & Oates mustache.
Yeah,
Man.
he shaved it off though. He doesn't.
Really?
Yeah, he doesn't have that stash anymore.
Dang, that stash was
That was his signature.
was classic.
Yeah, that was his signature, man.
Like the policeman from the Village People. Got a big old mustache.
Oh man, see what? Oh, see, I told you, man. See, my mic stand kind of messed up on me right now, and now it's grounding too. Oh man. Okay, here we go. I'll start it off first. So this comes from allmusic.com. This is a biography on Daryl Hall and John Oates. This is by Stephen Thomas Erlewine. From their first hit in 1974 through early heyday in the 80s, Daryl Hall and John Oates' smooth, catchy take on Philly soul brought them enormous commercial success, including 6 #1 singles and 6 platinum albums. Hall & Oates' music was remarkably well constructed and produced. At their best, their songs were filled with strong hooks and melodies that adhered to soul traditions without being a slave to them, incorporating elements of new wave and hard rock. Daryl Hall began performing professionally while he was a student at Temple University. In 1966, he recorded a single with Kenny Gamble and the Romeos. The group featured Gamble, Leon Huff, and Thomas Bell. I think Gamble and Huff are music writers too, who would all become the architects of Philly soul. During this time, Hall frequently appeared on sessions for Gamble and Huff. In 1967, Hall met John Oates, a fellow Temple University student. Oates was leading his own soul band at the time. The two students realized they had similar tastes and began performing together in an array of R&B and doo-wop groups. That's what I known Hall & Oates as, like a doo-wop group. By 1968, the duo had parted ways, and as Oates transformed schools and Hall formed the soft rock band Gulliver. The group released 1 album on Elektra in the late 60s before disbanding.
After Gulliver's breakup, that reminds me of that book, Hall concentrated on session work again, appearing as a backup vocalist for the Stylistics, wow, and the Delphonics, the Intruders, among others. Oates returned to Philadelphia in 1969, and he and Hall began writing folk-oriented songs and performing together. Eventually, they came to the attention of Tommy Mottola, who quickly became their manager, securing the duo a contract with Atlantic Records. On their first records, Hall Oates from 72, Abandoned Luncheonette
What?
73, War Babies in 74. The duo were establishing their sound, working with producers like Arif Mardin and Todd Rundgren, and removing much of their folk influences.
Todd Rundgren is a good artist, man.
At the beginning of 1974, the duo relocated from Philadelphia to New York. During this period, they only managed 1 hit, the number 60, She's Gone, in the spring of 1974. That song has a weird video.
Maybe we'll do that on another show.
I
definitely
stumbled
gotta-
upon that earlier today, and that video wasn't ever released, but they thought it would be a good idea to upload it to YouTube a few years ago.
You know, maybe we can
Weird, man.
maybe we can share that like later on, like towards the end of the show. We'll definitely share it.
Yeah, or another time or whatever. It's all
Yeah.
good. It's a weird video. Okay. After they moved to RCA in 1975, the duo landed on its successful mixture of soul, pop, and rock, scoring a top 10 single with Sarah Smile. The success of Sarah Smile prompted the re release of She's Gone, which rocketed into the top 10 as well. Released in the summer of 1976, Bigger Than the Both of Us was only moderately successful upon its release. The record took off in early 1977 when Rich Girl became the duo's first #1 single.
Although they had several minor hits between 1977 and 1980, the albums Hall & Oates released at the end of the decade were not as successful as their mid-70s records. I keep stumbling today on my words. Nevertheless, they were more adventurous, incorporating more rock elements into their blue-eyed soul. The combination would finally pay off in late 1980 when the duo released the self-produced Voices, the album that marked the beginning of Hall & Oates' greatest commercial and artistic success. The first single from Voices, a cover of the Righteous Brothers, You've Lost That Loving Feeling, reached number 12, yet it was the second single, Kiss on My List, that confirmed their commercial potential by becoming the duo's second #1 single. Its follow-up, You Make My Dreams, hit number 5. They quickly released Private Eyes, and I think that's another song that has some weird meaning to it too. In the summer of 1981, the record featured 2 #1 hits, Private Eyes, and the song that we're going to be doing tonight, I Can't Go For That, No Can Do, as well as the top 10 hit, Did It In A Minute. I Can't Go For That, No Can Do also spent a week at the top of the R&B charts, a rare accomplishment for a white act. H2O followed in 1982, and it proved more successful than their 2 previous albums, selling over 2 million copies and launching their biggest hit single, Maneater, as well as the top 10 hits, One on One and Family Man. The following year, the duo released a greatest hits compilation, Rock and Soul Part 1, that featured 2 new top 10 hits. The number 2, Say It Isn't So, and Adult Education. That was a great album, man. That was actually a really good album. I remember that album because my dad used to play that album all the time.
Oh,
when he was dropping me and my brother off to school. If it's one thing that I'm grateful for my father, I came from a broken home and I wasn't really, the relationship between me and my father wasn't that great. But the one thing I can really appreciate from him is the taste in music that he introduced us to, even though at the time I wasn't really digging it because I was all into hip-hop way back then. But I'm very appreciative of this kind of music now.
My dad was 100% into surf music. That's all he would listen to.
Wipeout, huh?
Yeah.
In April of 1984, the Recording Industry Association of America announced that Hall & Oates had surpassed the Everly Brothers as the most successful duo in rock history, earning a total of 19 gold and platinum awards. Released in October of 1984, Big Bam Boom expanded their number of gold and platinum awards, selling over 2 million copies and launching 4 top 40 singles, including the #1 Out of Touch. Man, like I said, that album right there, that cover, had a lot of good songs. Following their contract-fulfilling gold album Live at the Apollo with David Ruffin and Eddie Kendrick, Hall & Oates went on hiatus. After the lukewarm reception for Daryl Hall's 1986 solo album, Three Hearts in the Happy Ending Machine, the duo regrouped to release 1988's Oh Yeah, their first record for Arista. The first single, Everything Your Heart Desires, went to number 3 and helped propel the album to platinum status. All right, it's your turn, my friend.
However, none of the album's other singles broke the top 20, indicating that their era of chart dominance had ended. Change of Season, released in 1990, confirmed the fact. Although the record went gold, it featured only one top 40 hit, the number 11 single So Close. The duo mounted a comeback in 1997 with Marigold Sky, but it was only partially successful. Far better was 2003's Do It for Love, and the following year's Soul Covers record, Our Kind of Soul. The issuing of greatest hits albums reached a fever pitch during the 2000s with no fewer than 15 different collections. Seriously? Seeing the light by 2008. Live records proliferated as well, with the A&E Live by Request release live in concert, hitting stores in 2003. A reissue of their Ecstasy on the Edge 1979 concert, titled simply In Concert this time around, in 2006, and the Live at the Troubadour 2 CD 1 DVD set.
Oh,
That sounds like a
wow.
commercial. In 2008. As far as the proper studio albums go, the 2000s were lean with only 3 releases. The aforementioned Do It for Love and Our Kind of Soul, topped off by, oh no, they did a Christmas album.
Everybody does a Christmas
You
album.
have to, it's almost a requisite. Home for Christmas in 2006. A career spanning box set appeared in
Box
2009.
sets.
Any kind of gimmick, you got to how are you going to resell the same album that you already sold?
Yeah, that's true. That is
Box
true.
it up in a collection with a fancy box.
But that's when you had to go to a music store. Music stores don't even really exist anymore, man.
No. There's a few.
Yeah, there was a few.
There's a few really good vinyl stores here in town.
In ATX, right?
Yep.
You got to go downtown for that, though, right?
Oh,
No?
South Austin. So that box set, Do What You Want, Be What You Are. The music of Daryl Hall and John. That does sound like
Right.
Crowley right there.
Oh,
That sounds like Aleister Crowley.
Everybody, you just wait till what I found on this fool. I'm telling you, just wait. We're not done with the whole bio thing yet. This is just a general bio, but just wait. I found something else on
I
this
know.
fool.
I saw that in that title there. I couldn't help myself. I had to mention that because look at that title, man. Okay. During the 2010s, the duo were very active, both together and separately. Several Hall & Oates tours were mounted, and they performed together on American Idol and The Voice. In 2011, Hall released his 5th solo album, Laughing Down Crying, on Verve Forecast. And that same year, Oates released a blues tribute album titled Mississippi Mile. 3 years later, Oates drafted contemporary pop stars, including Ryan Tedder, who I have no idea who that is, Hot Chele Ray, for A Good Road to Follow. Also in 2014, the duo were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, I believe that's it for the bio, man. Okay. That was quick. I didn't think
Made it through.
Yeah, we did make it through. Let's see. Yeah, okay. All right. So, let me go here. Before I even share this next article, there are a few pictures here that I want to share too, because we got to kind of build this up to it, right? And there was a couple pictures here that I found kind of interesting. So I guess I found this on Pinterest, okay? Now, with people who are familiar with the Freemasons and duality and all that kind of stuff, well,
Oh, yeah, I see. Yep.
you got the checkerboard thing right here. And then right below that, he's holding this staff with what looks like a devil right there. You see that? So I just here, let me blow it up just there.
Wow.
So already, I mean, he's not one of these artists that's blatantly out there with this kind of stuff. He's one of those type of artists who's very subtle about his presentation, but his, you know, this song that we're doing in particular, I mean, it kind of sounds out there. It kind of does if you're aware about how the music industry is and how they're all into, I don't know, certain types of practices, I would say.
Yeah.
Right?
Certain esoteric.
Yes. They're all into mysticism and witchcraft, and especially with witchcraft, because they totally believe in the whole thing with casting spells, because that's what musicians do, right? And I'm talking about the musicians who make music for more deeper reasons than just to make music, right? They're not like you and I, Java. Like, if we were to make music, it's because we really just we just love music, and we want to be able to make great music. There's no hidden agenda to it, right?
Right.
But these artists,
They have an agenda.
Oh, they do.
And a lot of it, like everyone, something that that we've been finding over the past few weeks and months is that there's, when they're reach a certain level, if they want to accomplish a certain level in their career, they have to join this certain kind of club.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the messaging like this stuff is given to them to present to the public, to the populace. It may not even have originated with them, but then they become to believe it themselves. Some of them are already into it, but I think that some of these people learned all this stuff because it was forced on them, and then they just kind of actually started believing it.
That could be true. I think a lot of them too were kind of how do you say, they were what's the word I'm looking for? Not prepped, but they were kind of groomed. They were groomed into doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
For example, like the people who went through Disney with who became the child stars later had careers when they became adults. But man, did they turn out really messed up. Britney Spears turned out all messed up.
Jacked up.
We were talking about this last week. Also, Miley Cyrus? Yeah, she turned out real messed up too, man.
She started off as what was that? Hannah Montana?
Hannah Montana, man. Nickelodeon, right? I think that was Nickelodeon. Not too sure. But there's a pattern here, man. And they make it seem like they start taking drugs because they're celebrities. I think this is just me thinking. I think they get into the whole drug thing to numb themselves, right? To kind of separate themselves from the reality that they have to really face with being a celebrity and being into this kind of sick stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Let's just be real about it. It's sick stuff.
Deal with all that stuff. Like go up a little bit if you don't mind. There's this picture up above and like to the right. Yeah, it's coming up on the right. Yeah, see his hands?
This
right
one right
there?
here?
And the top.
Oh, yeah.
Right
there you
corner.
go. Yes.
See, that's for one, that's like the Magus or whatever, the Magnus on I believe like on a tarot card image, the magician or whatever does that.
Yeah.
Hand signature right there.
You're right.
But I think that that Aleister Crowley does that too, doesn't he?
I know the
Oh,
Baphomet
yes.
does. The picture of the Baphomet,
Baphomet
the Baphomet definitely has as above, so below. The ones that are the fingers that are pointing up, it looks exactly like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
That was
That
a good
says a lot right there.
that was a good catch. But he's very subtle. He's very, very subtle. And he doesn't seem like that type of person, but I'll tell you what, man. Let me share this article first.
Yeah.
Let me just okay, hold on, cuz it's here. Okay. I haven't shared it with you yet. Okay. You see it?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to read this article. This one comes from salon.com. And this was interesting because apparently Daryl Hall made some kind of weird statement in a 1987 Penthouse magazine article. And I think this website kind of rehashed it. So let me just read the article here. Salon.com by Stephen Dusner. So the article reads, I can't go for that. The case against Hall & Oates. Cheesy songs, awful lyrics. Philly soul by accident of geography. Time to get honest about Hall & Oates' awfulness. You know, they're not that bad. They're not that bad.
I mean, people liked them enough for them to go multi-platinum or whatever.
Yeah, and they're in the Rock Hall of Fame, you know. Well,
I mean,
I guess if you
gotta
do
do certain things for that one.
yeah, I was about to say that maybe you have to do certain things to get up there, and they probably did. And I'm pretty sure Daryl Hall did. Anyhow, in the March 1987 issue of Penthouse, Daryl Hall, the blonde-headed and non-luxurious what word is that? Mustachioed? Mustachioed.
Like pistachio with hair.
Ugh. I don't want to eat pistachios anymore, man. Mustachio's half of the pop duo Hall & Oates explained his interest in the dark arts. Hence, here we go with Hall & Oates, right? Actually, more with Daryl Hall. Around 1974, I graduated into the occult and spent a solid 6 or 7 years immersed in the Kabbalah and the Chaldean, Celtic, and Druidic traditions. Man, this is hardcore, dude.
Well, and that's the exact time that band was at their peak. Like those were like their peak years right there.
So you want to talk about people who are into all this witchcraft stuff, man? There's definitely some kind of agenda with music to definitely charm people. This is the reason why I named this particular show on Sundays Go Back to Sleep, is because everybody's asleep on this, man. You have to have a little bit of knowledge about the spiritual part of what's going on in this world. If you don't have that, I feel sorry for you, man. I really do.
I mean, and they sculpt. They even with the messaging here, and with their intentions, with the stuff that they've learned and they know, man. And you combine that too. They craft the tones of the sounds that make the song, like the style. Like you can hear, 50 songs that all sound kind of the same at different periods of time, because they're the ones that control what the popular music is. And I think those tones.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
People
yes,
are designed to entrance people. So those words and everything can just slide into people's subconscious, because all the other kind of innovative music, like there's really wildly creative music out there, but none of that will be the popular stuff put on radio. That's all stuff that will always be kept on the fringe, because it busts people out of the formula of entrancement, is what I'm calling it.
Yes, no, I agree. I totally agree. There are certain chords. We talked about this last week, right? What was it called?
Chord. Yeah,
the devil's
chord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that. where was I? I was about to read. Yeah, well, the bottom line is here. The point was that these dudes, well, not these dudes, but these people who are in the industry, the music industry, there's definitely some kind of casting of spells going on. Oh, okay. This is where I was going with this. The title of the show, called "Go Back to Sleep," is because this is exactly what's been happening to all of us. We're all guilty of falling asleep on this. We were all entranced and bedazzled by the great music when we were growing up as young people, right? We spoke about this many times, where music is a huge part of our lives, especially in our teenage years. During the hard times I was going through as a teenager, music got me through. Not to mention, I started DJing at 12 years old. So yeah, music has always been a part of my life. I took piano lessons when I was younger. Never really stuck with it, but hey, I played an instrument. So I was in a band in high school, kind of like a rock band. And I was just around music all the time. Music was a huge part of my life, especially coming from a broken home. I needed something, I needed something to kind of get me out of trouble. And DJ was a huge thing for me because it got me out of a lot of trouble. So music was a big part of my life, and I'm pretty sure with you too. Music was.
Oh yeah, since
part.
I was like 3 or 4.
So music is a huge part of people's lives, and like I said.
And the thing is, like, I believe that a lot of like the youth are more open to the effects of it. That's why they're targeted by music industry.
Yes.
And it even affects the youth to the degree where they'll have different sections of people hanging out at school based on their musical preference, and that preference shapes how they dress, what they talk about, how they think. It all comes from the culture of that pocket of music that they're being exposed to.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that. I remember in high school there were what did we call them, man? I guess in modern times you can call them kind of emo people, but there were people who used to dress like, you can tell like they were emo people. They never were called emo until like the 2000s. After the 2000s, I forgot what they used to call them.
And when we were in high school, wasn't it like goths or something?
Goth, there you go. Yeah, goth. It was goth people, but then that turned into like emo people later on. But yeah, I noticed that crowd, and then with the, I guess, the jocks, they listen to almost anything. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, because I would have some acquaintances in different types of groups, and you're right about the music, man. The goths would listen to like really dark stuff, man. And that's probably one of the reasons why I really got into the Cures, because they were part of, they listened to that kind of stuff, and I was like, oh, it sounds really depressing but nice at the same time. So yeah, anyhow, let me continue with the article here. So it's let me read this part again. I graduated into the occult and spent a solid 6 or 7 years immersed in the Kabbalah and the Chaldean, Celtic, and Druidic traditions and ancient techniques for focusing the inner flame. The will that can create unimagined things and truly transform your individual universe. This is what you were explaining, man. How certain notes will just get to you.
Yep.
Hall also revealed that his great-great-grandfather was a warlock. This is crazy, dude.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this is crazy,
Wow.
dude. This is crazy. Then placed himself in a lineage of noted Satanists, Aleister Crowley. I was fascinated with him because his personality was the late 19th century equivalent of mine. So
Oh,
he's relatable to him.
wow. Holy moly.
A person brought up in a conventionally religious family who did everything he could to outrage the people around him as well as himself. Outrage?
He's just being a rebellious
Rebellious,
kid.
yeah. But I think he got sucked into it, dude.
He goes.
He got sucked
Yeah, he
into it,
did.
dude.
Holy
I mean,
moly.
dude, he said that his great-great-grandfather was a warlock. Who says
So-
that kind of stuff, man?
Oh boy.
Who says that
Was
kind of
that-
stuff? Unless,
Right.
you know, he's really serious about it, you know?
I think he's serious about it.
Oh, I think so, too. I absolutely
I-
think
I
so,
think-
too.
And so guaranteed, you know, is passed down to some degree the interest from, you know, father to father down.
Well, you know the thing with these things too, you know, I just you know, because I kind of I had Sabbath day worship Saturday before I did my gig, right? And they were talking about generational curses, and it's interesting because maybe even before the great-great-grandfather, there have been already idol worship of different sorts. And
sure.
it's and the way I look at it is that with generational curses, I mean, it gets worse and worse and worse every generation. And it led me to believe, or conclude, I should say, is that when you have a particular person in the lineage of family that's I guess that God kind of assigns to stop that curse, it becomes very heavy-some for that person. And they
Oh,
are
yeah.
heavily attacked. But at the same time, they're trying to fight that. And they're trying to get, like, for me, for example, I think there's a lot of generational curses that came from my past relatives. And I'll say this out. I'll say this right here, dude. I think my grandmother was into witchcraft. I really think she was, man. Because, you know, she used to say these weird prayers and stuff, man. And, you know, being Filipino, there and also raised as a Roman Catholic, we Roman Catholics tend to worship idols, like statues or pictures, which, you know, of course, now that I know it's bad, it's just that's what they do. And I honestly believe that my grandmother was into witchcraft.
Wow.
And on top of that, with the whole being raised as Roman Catholic, praying to freaking statues and having like to touch them and even praying to pictures, praying to saints. Like, dude, the only person you're supposed to be praying to is God. So I think, you know, I think going through that kind of stuff too, I think that's why I've been heavily spiritually attacked before I started my journey with Christ. And I mean, I gotta say that it's not as common as it used to be. Now that I'm on this side of the fence and I'm trying to stop the generational curse, but man, I tell you, there have been weeks, bro, where I feel just all alone, because I felt that God wasn't around, you know. But learning on Saturday that sometimes that's the time where you have to lean more towards God in order for you to get stronger, because that's when you're kind of vulnerable for the attacks. Anyhow, I know I kind of went off track there,
Oh,
but it kind of connected because with the witchcraft that my grandmother was into, and this, it's just, yeah, it connects. There's a connection.
wow. Yeah, there is definitely.
Okay, let me continue here. Hall also revealed that his okay, I read that part. Okay, outrage. That last bit makes him sound like Ozzy Osbourne. or Madonna circa Like a Prayer. Artists who worked to provoke as well as to entertain or arguably confused the two. That's why it's so difficult to align Hall with Crowley or even imagine him as a person devoted to the occult. With longtime collaborator John Oates, Hall made some of the most harmless, lame, and conservative pop music of the MTV era. When they were singing I Can't Go For That No Can Do, Ozzy was biting the head off a bat. Dude, I beg to differ. It's probably equivalent now that we know what that song's about. Well, we don't know it yet, but we'll get into it. When they scored a number one hit with Out of Touch, Madonna was singing Like a Prayer in front of burning crosses. You don't have to be controversial to be respectable or interesting, of course, but aside from Hall's interest in the occult, the duo rejected controversy and embraced conformity. They made safe pop that minds its manners. Yeah.
Well, that's how you can slip stuff into more
exactly.
people.
Yup. I was about to say, no, they were just more.
That's how you do it. You want it to be so palatable that anybody of any age everywhere would listen to it so you can influence.
Yup. And it's subtle. That's why.
So freaking subtle.
That's how people fell asleep on it, man.
Yep.
All right. If you could go ahead and read the next two paragraphs, my friend.
All right. On the other hand, how else could Hall and Oates enjoy such a successful career but through the intervention of some occult entity? How else could they maintain such a vaunted legacy, such as their hits are met not with the rolling of our collective eyes, but with the jubilant singing along of listeners who weren't even born when private eyes were watching you? How else could they have been voted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame without some animal sacrifices and a whole bunch of black candles?
So dismissive, huh?
I
It's
know.
so dismissive, man, making it seem like these guys are saints, man.
Hall & Oates' impossibly long career of moderately catchy tunes begins in Philadelphia in the late 1960s, when the two teenagers were in vying crooner groups, Hall and the Temp Tones and Oates and the Masters. Temp Tones. Interesting. Eventually, they joined forces as a fairly unchallenging soft rock band signed with Atlantic and had a string of hits in the 70s. Saccharine smashes like Sarah Smile, She's Gone, and Rich Girl.
Of their early discography, their 73 debut, Abandoned Luncheonette, stands out as the foundation of their cult. An album so bannically produced that it is often mistaken for innovative.
Harsh.
Their mix of falsetto harmonies, acoustic folkiness, out of nowhere banjo and fiddle breaks, and garnish production can be occasionally intriguing, if so soft that it makes even Seals and Crofts sound like Slayer by comparison.
Man.
Lyrically, Luncheonette is an awkward little curio crammed with references to toothbrushes and dishwashers and cracked china. Maybe on the surface it does, but who knows what's really behind those lyrics, you know?
Right.
All fairly intriguing bric-a-brac for a pop song. There is nothing so interesting as a slice of life. Instead, it proves a cloyingly sentimental portrayal of life and love, so they say. Because the duo hailed from Philadelphia, Hall & Oates have subsequently classified as Philly Soul, but the distinction has less to do with musical style than with sheer luck of geography. The city of brotherly love produced some amazing acts in the 1970s, including songwriter/producer Gamble and Huff. That's what I was saying earlier. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, the Delphonics. Oh, great groups, man. MFSB and Billy Paul. They emphasize luxurious arrangements and silken vocals, often pushing the limits of soul and R&B. Hall & Oates, by comparison, sounds slick instead of smooth, defined by studio sheen and more than a little desperate to impress. Hall still has a tendency to overseeing, as though suspicious of his instrument, and conceived that vocal oh my goodness, I can't read. Ululization. I hope I said that right. Convey depth of emotion. There's not much in the way of nuance to his performances. At best, he can clobber you into submission.
Like a seal?
Oh?
Okay, here we go. Unlike their Philly peers, however, Hall & Oates thrived well into the 80s, largely by abandoning the lush production of Abandoning Luncheonette and appropriating the synths and drum machines of post-punk and new wave. When MTV was just beginning to stake a claim on teenagers' attention in the early 1980s, and us 5-year-olds. In 1980, when I was like 5, and I was totally snuck out in the middle of the night to watch MTV, like when it first came out.
That's right. You grew up in a very strict Christian home, huh?
Yep, I had to sneak out like at midnight, and I watched MTV in the middle of the night when I was 5.
So you're probably
Like
watching
3 hours.
Headbangers Ball then, right?
Yep. All right, so so when MTV was just beginning to stake a claim on teenagers' attention in the early 1980s, Hall & Oates became superstars thanks to a string of hits/single videos: Kiss on My List, Private Eyes, Man Eater, and Out of Touch. Each of those, along with I Can't Go For That, reached #1 between 81 and 84. Commercially, it's a remarkable run. Creatively, each song sounds increasingly indistinct. Radio pop by the numbers. See, that's what I'm talking about. There's a formula. Not only are songs sound indistinct from other songs on an album quite often, but with other songs by other bands on the radio. You know, like,
yeah.
all right. The hits petered out as the decade wore on, with the embarrassing Live at the Apollo and the wan, Ooh Yeah. That makes me think of Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah.
Slim Jim, right?
Yeah. Failing to replicate the duo's earlier successes. Thus begins the third phase in the Hall & Oates' improbable career. Never mind the assorted solo projects, hit packages, nostalgia tours, no chemistry duets, and attempted comebacks that filled their time from the 90s and well into the 21st century. They have become the ultimate nostalgia act, the platonic ideal of cheese pop, whose performances are so hammy and whose lyrics so nonsensical that they essentially make fun of themselves.
No, man. It
That's
makes
harsh.
perfect sense. Their lyrics make perfect sense, dude.
Yep, it's on purpose.
I think the person writing this is just doesn't enjoy the music.
They're just bitter.
Yeah.
They're bitter. They probably tried to do kazoo at a open mic at a bookstore, and everyone hated him, and he's just bitter about music.
Tomatoes, man. Tomatoes.
Yep. Okay, let's just finish this up. If they are the kings of karaoke, it's not so much because it's so easy to mimic Hall's vocal style, but because these songs seem to acknowledge the inherent silliness of singing words off a screen with a pre-recorded backing track.
Dude, no. I have to disagree with that part of the article. I mean, you know, although I understand what the purpose is for this music here. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds good. You know what I mean?
It is pretty catchy, for sure.
It sounds good. I'm not gonna lie, it does sound good. Doesn't mean that I love the song or anything like that. I can appreciate good music when I hear it. All right, let me finish this off with this paragraph here. In other words, Hall & Oates live write on the lip of irony, even those current artists who have covered their tunes and insisted on sincerity. From the Bird and the Bee, who recorded a full album of Hall & Oates tunes, to Alison Brie, whose Brooklyn band performs Rich Girl because of course, seem to hint that the whole thing is innocently corny. Man, this is cringe. This part of the article is cringe. It is and it isn't, which may be the ultimate complaint against the duo. Their music doesn't signify anything. Oh, it sure does. It sure does signify something. You just don't know what it is. There's no subtext, no worldview, no underlying melancholy or creative exuberance. No real connection to the world outside of the song itself. The music, as a result, is hermetic and ultimately hollow, a time waster. I beg to differ, man. That part of the article where it goes, no real connection to the world outside? Yeah, you're right, because it's the connection to the other world, the spiritual world. And it's not the good spiritual world that I'm talking about. It's the evil spiritual world that it's connected to. Man, I mean
Well, and he threw in the word hermetic, and that's like part of the occult in its own.
It's occult verbiage. It is.
Why even use that if you say he doesn't have the subtext? He just blew the whole point.
Well, I mean, I think he used it because of that interview that he did in 1987. Where it says right here that he's into Aleister Crowley, so that's probably why he kind of used that word towards the end. So yeah, interesting article here. I mean, interesting as far as like exposing Hall to what he's into. Now it makes me wonder: is there any relation to Manly P. Hall? Right?
Wow, that's a good thought right there.
I don't know. It's just a thought that just kind of popped into my head. Is there a relation? Are they in the same lineage, or is there any connection there? Because they do share the same last name, and typically people who like celebrities, they're connected to a lot of powerful people.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just it's just a thought. It's just
like
a thought.
For example, what's his name? Anderson Cooper. His mom's Gloria Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people who are connected.
It's so much like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
Yeah, just like Jim Morrison and his dad.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Or even Zappa. Right?
Right.
His dad also. So yeah, this is the article. All right. Now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of things. We're going to step it up and go to the lyrics of the song. And, of course, the song that we're talking about tonight is I Can't Go For That. So let me share that with you. I think the audience can already see the lyrics to that.
That album cover.
Yeah, what is that supposed to be? Look at that signature mustache that John Oates has.
That's what I'm saying. It's like either the magician's mustache or the policeman on the Village People.
But I couldn't find anything on John Oates. It was Daryl Hall stuff that I found. I didn't find anything on John Oates. So
right before we start the words, I looked up the writer of this song a little bit.
Okay.
Sarah Allen is her name, and she was actually dating Daryl Hall.
Okay, so that's where the song Sarah Smile came from because of her.
Yeah, because of her. That song was about her. And she dated Daryl Hall from like 1971 until 2001.
And she wrote this song?
Yes, she wrote this song.
That's interesting. So I wonder.
And she's in that video that I was talking about from '73 that they never released.
What's it called again?
She's
song?
Gone.
She's Gone. Yeah,
And
we'll
this lady, Sarah Allen, Daryl Hall's girlfriend, is in that video, being chased by the devil.
What? Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll definitely get to watch that towards the
But
end of the
anyways,
show.
I thought that was interesting that they were the writer of this song and most of the biggest hits she wrote the lyrics to.
So now, with that being said, like, what's her connection to this whole mysticism stuff? Because just with this song. Well,
Yeah.
let's
That's the part that I'm trying to find out. I tried to find something in that realm about if anybody has any researcher has uncovered about her, but I have not discovered it yet. It's hard to find stuff like a lot of stuff on these songwriters, but you got to wonder about these songwriters based on like the bulk of these lyrics that we've been uncovering.
Yes, no, absolutely. I think we got a lot more serious when we dug into the Barry Manilow one, man.
Oh man. Yep.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, that was an eye opener for me. That kind of blew my mind.
Dude.
So yeah, let's dissect this a little bit because that's a good, that would probably be a good dig on her to see what her connection is to this whole world of
Yeah, I'm
mysticism.
trying to find that out. 'Cause I know there's a connection there. There's got to be. They were probably studied this stuff together
I bet. Oh, I absolutely. I guarantee.
because they were together. They were dating. They were together when like he said in '73 or '4 or whatever when he started getting into that stuff. They were already had been dating for years. So I'm sure she had to have been just right there the whole journey of this whole studying of all this stuff.
No, absolutely, because he was into it. He admittedly said that he was into it. Before we go any further, I want to say thank you to Axiom Decent out on the YouTube end. Thank you so much for being here. I know you're saying you have to go, but thank you so much for being here. Conspiracy Realist Mom on the YouTube side, thank you for being here. Paul Cooney, thank you for being here on the YouTube side. And I think I have also people on the Foxhole side, 94 Winchester, A Boneless Chicken, Leah Worth, Sea Dragon. Oh, okay. And that's how I see so far. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much. Yeah, it would be interesting to see what she's into also. So
I'll try and look into that because if she was there, probably sitting at the same table as him while he's reading these books about this stuff and studying, I'm sure she's got delved in that whole world too.
who knows? Maybe she could have been the one to introduce. But then again, he said
That's true.
he said that his great grandfather was a warlock. So I don't know, man.
Right.
All right. So I'll do the first verse and the chorus. So the song that we're kind of talking about today, we're talking about it, is I Can't Go For That, No Can Do. And this is the lyrics. I got this from genius.com. From verse 1. Easy riding, willing over time. Where does it stop? Where do you dare me? Okay. I'm going to pause there. So this sounds like it's a challenge, right? Like, you've gotten me this far. Like, how much more do you think I can do? Right?
And it's showing their willingness to do all the, like, whatever it takes to to go that next step in their career. I kind of get, but like they're ready and willing and easy. Like it does not. It doesn't take a lot of convincing.
Well, I think in the beginning there's not that much convincing because
Right.
they promise you all these things, you know,
Everything.
the fame, the
Everything.
fortune. They're basically, you know, saying that hey, you can be able to get all these things. Um, so he's saying easy, ready, willing, overtime. Where does it stop? Where do you dare me to draw the line? This is interesting right here. You've got the body, now you want my soul. Don't even think about it. Say no, go.
Right. It's like they've given their whole physical.
And who knows what that means when they say you've got the body? Who knows? I mean, my imagination can go through, I don't know, maybe you had to do something that you weren't you personally didn't want to do, but since you wanted to trade that for all the fame and fortune, maybe you did what you didn't want to. You know?
Yep, and they obviously also think that it's paying off for them so far because they're still they're still um willing to do stuff. They haven't hit that point of at least on the physical stuff.
Well, I think just based on this part right here of the song, I think they understand that there's steps to this.
Yeah.
I think they're beginning to understand that there's steps to this, how far they would go in order for them to attain what they want to. And they've achieved very, very high status as far as the music industry goes. They've definitely attained high status. So let me go ahead and go here with the chorus. Yeah, I'll do anything that you want me to. Yeah, I'll do almost anything that you want me to. Oh, yeah. But I can't go for that. No, no. Okay, so now my question is, what is it that he can't go for?
Like giving up their soul, I think, is what they're implying. Because
I
right
don't,
before that, they're like, "Now you want my soul, but no can do."
maybe at that time they were kind of reluctant in giving up their soul, but like I said, man, their career is pretty high up there, man. So they must have done something to take that next step to where they're at now. Anyhow,
Yep.
no
That's
can.
something like real serious.
Yeah, I bet, man. We hear the stories, man. A lot of them deal with. I don't know. I don't really want to say because the algos on YouTube might cut me off, but
No,
use your
but
imagination.
we all know.
Yeah,
We,
use
we get what you're saying.
no can do. I can't go for that. No, and it just keeps repeating that. So I wonder what it is. I really wonder what it is that they said that they couldn't go for, like they couldn't do that. All right.
All right. It says, I can go for being twice as nice. I can go for just repeating the same old lines. Use the body. Now you want my soul. Oh, forget about it. Now say no go. See, so they're saying like, yeah, you can have my body, just not my soul.
So when they're saying that, especially when he's saying that he can use the same old lines. Wait, I can't go for being twice as nice. I can go for just repeating the same old line. So when he's saying I can go for just repeating the same old lines, does that mean that he can keep on, like, I don't know, using music to kind of charm people? He can do
Yeah.
that. He can be kind of like a messenger for the devil. Is that
That's what does kind of fall in the line with that one right there. It's like, yeah, I could do, I can do that. You can use it's probably like using their fame too. You can use use the body.
Right. Right. I'll be the representative for you in the physical world.
Exactly.
All right.
It says, yeah, I'll do anything that you want me to. Then it says, yeah, I'll do almost anything that you want me to. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, almost anything. I really want to know what it is. What it?
See, I just find it interesting that it's changed. It's like, first it's like, I'll do anything. Then it's like, I'll do almost anything.
So he's kind of like he's loosening up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
He's going like really, really like baby steps. What a choice of words I just used too, right? All right. So the chorus, it just repeats itself after that. And so does the pre-chorus. It just repeats itself. He's saying no, right? He's saying
And
he can't
and
do
it's
it.
interesting that it's in between. Like, he's saying no, but then it goes back to, yeah,
I'll yeah.
I'll do anything.
Do you think he's like bargaining?
Seems like it. It does seem like it.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure.
That's why I thought it was like he's trying to get to that next echelon. It's something big, like he's trying to get to the next level in his career, and they have to do worse and more intense things as that goes by.
That is true, but back then it was different. It was so different back then.
70s?
Well, 70s, 80s, everything. Not only the 70s, but also the 80s, the 90s, maybe the early 2000s. But then things started like changing big time. Okay. We can say now, just based on some of the videos that we've already done, like the Madonna one, for example, right? That they do live rituals during concerts.
Yep.
Interesting enough, there's another content creator who I love to watch. His name is Days of Noah, and I'm pretty sure that people on the YouTube side know who I'm talking about because I've met some of these people here through Days of Noah's live shows. And he put this video out yesterday about Travis Scott. That's his name, right? The rapper.
Yep.
So it was interesting because, dude, like, I guess he had a big concert in Houston and people died.
Yep. I remember that. Yeah, a bunch of people died.
And also what was being portrayed during the concert was very, very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and kill this on the lyric side. Let me kill this and then just put us on blow us up here. Okay. I just thought it was interesting that he was talking about that and how, in the background of the screen and stuff, it was just like very disturbing stuff. And then having people die, man, these artists are doing freaking rituals during their concerts now. Like there's no hiding anything anymore.
No, it's like the next phase of being more overt with it. It was hidden. Like in the 70s, it was more hidden.
And you know what the weird thing about it is that a lot of, especially the younger generation, they're accepting this, man. They're very receptive to this kind of stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like that age group is the most receptive towards whatever is being pushed upon them by the music industry.
Yep. So it's just a different time now, man. Things are.
It's like fully game on for like the satanic side, pretty much.
But it's not only the music industry. It's even in movies, in TV shows. Dude, even world events, man. even people, just people out on the streets, they're just very blatant about the very evil things that they do or they're into. I don't know, man.
Yep.
It's very upside down now, man. I saw this article about there was a wedding in San Francisco, and during the wedding there were a bunch of people who robbed the people who were having a wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
So, man, what I'm trying to say is that, man, the devil's out there, dude. And it's blatant. There's no hiding anymore. The time has passed already for them to be subtle about things. Now it's just straight up. It's just straight up in your face. And a lot of people, I'm not going to say a majority of people, but a lot of people are accepting to this, man. They're accepting to this. And they just take it. And I'm probably going to go on here on a rant about me, where people want to still be attached to the world. I'm going to go on this rant because I keep telling people, like, look, we're living in a different world now. This is a very spiritual world now. It's revealing itself. And in order for you to overcome or defeat this stuff of evilness in this world, you have to fight it with spirituality. As you know, they're coming at us with spirituality. We have to fight back with spirituality.
Yep.
That's where I'm at, man.
Literally.
You know? And, you know, I'm not trying to say like, oh, I don't like the whole political thing. I have my reasons. I'm more spiritual than I am attached to this world. And because of where we're at now in the world and because of my relationship with God, I am pushing as much as I can for people to be more spiritually active in their life and having that relationship, because if anything, we need more spiritual warriors than we do physical warriors. We really do, you know? But that's just me. That's just where I'm at, my state of mind. People kind of don't like that because, oh, you know, you're not helping us fight the good fight. Well, I am. Because I see the fight coming to us in a spiritual way. I don't see the fight in a physical way anymore. The physical way it's gone. Like, it can't be fixed. You know, that's just the way I see things. So anyhow, you got anything on the lyrical side of that, Java, before I go any further into this? Because I'm gonna have to kill it on the YouTube side before we go to
the video.
Yeah.
So to me, it's the whole thing about, because it doesn't even seem like he's not talking to, well, it's really the she that wrote it, but they're not talking to some producer or some label. To me, this is a spiritual argument. I mean, a discussion, bartering with, you know, it has a very Luciferian tinge to the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
And to me, the whole thing is about, trying to get up to the next level in their career and in their power. They want, power.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna. I mean, they're given this thing. I mean, the way I see the song is that they're given this thing, and they kind of seem like they're bargaining with it, right? At least the person who's singing, and they still want to have the fame and the fortune and all that stuff, but they kind of don't want to do certain things, and they're trying to. That's the way I see it. They're trying to bargain with whoever they're bargaining with. And let's be real about this. They're probably bargaining with the devil, right?
Yeah.
So the way I see it, because where they're at now, they probably took that next step and got to where they got to. That's my assumption. That's just my personal opinion.
Their career really, well, it was at a high point of their career, but this song could have been about when they were getting started or whatever. You know, just because it came out a little bit later doesn't mean there wasn't like a story about their start, like their bargain that really got them in the
Right.
launched.
Yeah. Yep.
'Cause it
All-
definitely totally seems like a bartering with the devil type of
I think so.
lyrical song.
Yeah. No, I
For
definitely
their
think
own
so.
advancement.
I
You
definitely
can have
think
my
so.
body, use my body, but just don't take my soul. What this says. I had no idea it said that until I studied the lyrics earlier. I was like, what?
Yeah, man.
Oh man. Seriously.
I mean, who else
Like
would want
right
your
there.
who else would want your soul? You know what I mean?
Right?
A girl can't want your soul. She may want your money or your balls, but she don't want your soul. Just saying, man. I'm just saying, dude. Like women wouldn't want to women are not gonna say, "Oh, I want your soul." No, man.
Give me your soul.
She wants your
and your
money.
wallet.
She wants your money, or maybe she wants your balls. I don't know. Or maybe she wants both. Who knows? I don't know. So yeah, that's the presentation for now for the people out in the YouTube part of the show. I did drop the links there if you want to continue on to watch. It's up to you. But I do appreciate you guys coming by, man. Thank you so much for, this is the biggest crowd I've had on the YouTube side.
Nice.
It says five or six. I think six. It peaked to 6 or 7. But man, I'm very happy that there are people out there that on the YouTube side that I've met on other people's channels, and they're coming to my channel, which is cool because these people, I think we think alike. The people that I met on the YouTube side, I've met them through spiritual channels. Yeah, spiritual people who talk about God a lot more. People who talk about the Bible a lot more than the world events. I mean, they talk about the world events, but in it's stuff that comes from the Bible, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I really want to thank you guys. Like I said, the links are right there. You guys are more than welcome to come over and continue on. We're just going to be watching the videos and then kind of giving our comments on them. And then we'll close the show out after that. But you guys got most of the part of the show, which is breaking down a little history on the artist, breaking down on the lyrics, and a little bit information on Daryl Hall. So you guys got most of the important parts of the show. But if you want to hear what we have to say about the music video and the music itself, then hey, you're more than welcome to follow us on Twitch or on the foxhole.app. So you guys are invited over there. So with that being said, with you guys, I want to greet you a God blessings and good night to you guys on the YouTube side. Thank you so much. And I hope that I can either catch your shows or you can catch mine again. And I'll be live again, 10 p.m. Central Time tomorrow for my show that I call My Journey with Yah, which is my actual experience of what I go through in my spiritual journey with Yah. So thank you again on the YouTube side, and I'll say good night to you guys. And
Blessings, YouTube.
God bless you guys.